السلام عليكم.
خد دقيقة بس، خد دقيقة اخوان، خد دقيقة، خد دقيقة بس، خلي خمجان. هاتي مشوي لها شوية، دون وري.
It's okay. It's okay.
جارب همسة.
It's okay. I'll try. No, it's not. It's okay.
إن بس مالوخن خامخ شليوتة شعر خرزن.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
إن بس مالوخن خامخ شليوتة شعر خرزن.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all distinguished guests. My name is Vanessa Wishalom, and I'll be one of your MCs for the evening alongside Mr. Emil Gharib. We would like to welcome you all to the 50th anniversary celebration of the Assyrian Sports and Cultural Club. I would like to begin by acknowledging the Darug people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather today, and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. I extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded.
رمشوخن طاوة. مقرياتها مقرة. أرخن خبيبة. شميلة ميل غريب. أمامي بتهويا بالنسم شال. تروان بتهاوخ بحروان خرز الدهر مشان إلى زياخر. شت أستا بيت سماخا. شوتا فوتا أطلتها ومردوتها نطن أطوراي. تروان مكروبة بخشارة خرزة. بموديتا. ملكانا. ابن عم أصلايا داها أرقد أديم زيوخة وآهرم شان أو إلى دارك أما الدارك هرهاضخ مقروة وإقارا قا مدبراني الدعوة وتقائم والدعتي وآها أراها ما شبه هويا أرغى الدارك.
I would like to ask you all to stand for both the Australian and Assyrian national anthems.
طابق نخن قيميتهم لقلوخن الإقارة تشمخ زمرتا أطرا أستراليا وبرهادخ الديان قمت أطورتها.
روش والله قرب انتلا بعد لا تطلع بارلي ترجع لبي بليبا لا تصبر تخا قربا ترجع لبي بليبا لا تصبر تخا قربا روش منزي جرات من قيرات منشي للدوار كشكانا بروداتي تخشو غانا لوغانا منشي للدوار كشكانا بروداتي تخشو غانا لوغانا چون خشبت من ملت ريقبه جابو بيلي هباس دعجه تفلون رانانو جامني جله بربزه دعجه تفلون رانانو جامني جله بربزه روش منسی جرد لیمن گیرد من شیل داوار کشکنه برلداتی دخشو خانه لگنه من شیل داوار کشکنه برلداتی دخشو خانه لگنه
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair. Beneath the radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this Commonwealth of ours renowned of all the lands. For those who've come across the seas with boundless plains to share, with courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains that let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Please take your seats.
Pardon tout le monde.
Initially established as the Assyrian Australian Club in 1966, the Assyrian Sports and Cultural Club became an officially registered club on the 13th of November 1972. Since then, the club has served as a major and significant Assyrian national organisation in Australia, providing services in various community aspects. As part of the celebration, the ASCC is proud to officially launch the official 50th year anniversary book, which will provide a historical overview of the club's history.
إن بسمع لكم خامخ شليوتا قد شمخ كلهم خاطش عيتا كريتا بود ذهبت سماخت أوديوم زيوخة بخمشيشين عابت سماخة الشوتا بوتا أطلقت مردوتانيتا أطوراي رشمائيت شوريان البوطما اشتا إنا رشمائيت بشتي لمسغلتا أخا بتسماخة يوم الطلطصر تشرين تريانا البو الطما وشوي ترين هامن يومات شت إسلا أها شو تافوتا هما شوي تيلا مقروة خلمتها بني أمتا وديوم اخنا نزيوخة وخمشيشن تشت أستا داها بتسماخة وبالنسبة داها يوما اتنخكتاوا أهكتاوا بيش الطويعة هم زملاء بد تشعيطة خمشيش نداها بتسماخ قدود مخب قنيبة بديطة بتشغل يطرانا وبديطة بشرابة بتشعيطة داها بتسماخ.
More than that, the ASCC has become a pillar of the Assyrian community, providing opportunities to both young and old organizations and groups to come together in collaboration in a variety of ways. Having hosted numerous parties, conventions, lectures, and other events, the ASCC is dependable, important, and an essential part of our small community here in Sydney.
قامت خد خمشيشين الدعور بتسماخة تشتابوتا أطلطة ومردوتا نتت آطورة مقروتها لا رابا خلمته وسندياته قاشو تابوياته إتلان جو سيدني وقرابة جبه وشو تاسه رابا مشتوياته ويدينا لخل هل بد خوراي مجان قسنتت شو تابوياته وشو تاسه وجبت إتلان جو سيدني كخدمة داها أمتا أطوريتا أنا بين مضين خامن دي لنا كتيبة بنسان قبلت قمت خد خمشاشن نبراتي طولت خلاقة ناشنال تيم قمت خد خمشاشن culture club هماشة سنتولا. I just want to add something, probably Vanessa didn't mention that. Since 2014, my daughter Rebecca, she was elected to be in Australian fencing national team. And she represented Australia in many countries, in Emirat, Asian Championship, Uzbekistan, Asian Championship, France World Championship, and South Africa Commonwealth Championship. And always Culture Club was the main sponsor for my daughter. And I would like to thank you for that.
I would now like to invite the President of the Assyrian Sports and Cultural Club, Mr. John Shamoon, to give his address.
Distinguished guests, former board members, Assyrian national and religious organizations, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the club members, I would like to welcome you all 50th year anniversary of the Sport Assyrian and Cultural Club. I would like to first thank all our special guests for their attendance to our celebration. They include Federal Member of Fowler Dialy, Mayor of Fairfield City Council Frank Carboni, Deputy Mayor Rennie Barfoot, Liverpool City Councillor Nathan Haggerty, Fairfield City Councillor George Chaba, Fairfield City Councillor Carmen Lazar. After 50 years of hard work, the Assyrian Sport and Culture Club is currently the largest Assyrian national organization in Australia. With our strong foundation based here at the club premises in Fairfield Heights, we can provide various social initiatives. This include parties, bingos, educational lecture, social gathering, and other forms of entertainment. With the potential generation, the club is working to expand further. In 2021, the decision was made by Board of Directors to purchase a 5.4 acres property in Bringelly. The property is located within 5 minutes drive from Western Sydney International Airport. Our hope is to build a sister club at this location. The club is proud to have constantly provided grants to various Assyrian organizations in Australia. We seize all the hard work and value brought by our organization and the constant in support of the organization. We currently have Fairfield Eagles Football Club, which serves the Assyrian community through junior and senior teams in Southern District Football Association. Additionally, the club throughout its history has supported individual talents, as Emil mentioned, through grants. Apart from helping Assyrian in Australia, we're extremely proud to become constantly supporting Assyrian in homeland Bet Nahrain. The club constantly financially supported initiatives such as the Assyrian Aid Society Australia, and it's committed to support the Assyrian living in Bet Nahrain. When it comes to celebration 50 years anniversary, we will all have to give a sincere gratitude toward the founders of the Assyrian Sport and Culture Club. Knowing what the club has become, along the amount of support it has provided, I speak on behalf of Assyrian communities to say to the founders, thank you for paving the present and the future of the Assyrian Sport and Culture Club. I would like to thank all club's previous president and committee members. The club deeply appreciates all the commitments and the time spent volunteering to grow for the growth and success of the club. The committee members has played important in ensuring the club's strong position today. The board of directors would like also to thank all club members, including both full and social members, as well as club patrons. Your constant and loyal support ensures the continuing of the club. I won't mention any names who helped this and continue helping this club. There are many. If I started talking about them, I won't finish till tomorrow morning, probably. But I will mention few names who are no longer with us, helped us in many ways. And they are Suhail Khaninia, design engineering. His sister Siham Bint Malik Ismail, Nat, Yonadam Yukhanna, which he's based in America. And also I want to remember Uncle Yonan Marcos. Many thanks to all these and all the one I haven't mentioned their names. As I said, there are many. On my personal note, I would like to thank the 50-year anniversary subcommittee, including Isa Qaleta, Yukhanda Khamis, Ramsin Warda, and Richard Yalda. Your tireless effort ensured success at tonight's function along with the 50-year anniversary book. Finally, I'll say to all Assyrian community in attendance today, I say your club is here to support you, so support your club. Thank you. أمرنا كريوتا بتشتست الداها بتسماخة شو تابوتا أطليتيتا ومردوتينات العطوراية هل بدأت لي إقارقة كلها أرخن تلا أثيلخة أرخن خبيبة تلا بقيدة عمان مدرب إتلي إقارقة فاوندرز شتسان الداها شو تاسا إن لهي واني هلا وخبر هدية لخا كلية القدوة بتسماخة بليخنا بقشيا بزامن تلتوالون هيارتا خك مداني بليخلا قشيوتا إلى ممطين قد هاوخ كلية لخا وهمز ماخون ببريشوتا مدبراني سياتا عودة اداها شو تاسا من شارته وهالاديو هالبدوينا كلها بليخنا بقشيوتا قد ممطيلها شو تاسا دا منتيتا وبهيوي وقتاوي منتيتا بكل أداني مندي خرايا تمرن مخمود خري شمانة رابنا بليخة قدوة بتسماخة وقدا شو تاسا لمصن ما تخرن كله بس ما تخرن خكمة منها تليلة مصي تاوي منه اني تقيلة سهيل خنينيا وعم خاطر سهام ملك اسماعيل واخونا يونادم يوخنا دي خيانة امريكا وابزي امو يون المرقس اتليلي بياشا على من يخلي هاوي يو ملكوتة الشمية هاويا بسم ترابة فاميليز دي للخا عمان اديو دخت مري من دي خرايا اللي تينتت من تقورتا من كل خناشة دي تيا لخا وابزي ايكم متتيلا مريستا اها عودوتا آيت إيلا آنيت إيلا عيسى قليتا يوخنا خامس رمسن وردة وريتشارد يلدا طينانة من تاخن لمن شخلة من تاخن إجدان من دي خرايا اتي تنتت من كل خطي ترهزراني أمان ديتون دائما كل دانا هيري قاداها شو تابوتا وبطلاب منتيتا كل خن قاداها أوانا هاويتم بسيمة رابا ينتت متنا إتلي من كل خن. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shamoon. Now, I would like to invite the Vice President of the Inaugural Establishment Committee of the Assyrian Sports and Culture Club, Mr. Natali Kaleta, to give his address.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Ramshochon Brukta. On behalf of the first registered committee of the Assyrian Sports and Cultural Club, I welcome you all. Starting from the humble beginnings, we are honored to see the club reach such a pinnacle level amongst the Assyrian and Australian community. In 1972, 50 years ago, it would have been unimaginable to see the club with 3,000 members. The club has seen many transitions and changes, starting from the suburbs of Paddington and Randwick, moving to Fairfield, purchasing the current club premises and the future ones in Bringelly. From day one, the aim of the club was to provide social, cultural, sport, and artistic initiatives among the Assyrian community. It was also our desire to continuously support Assyrian organizations. I am proud to say the club continues to do so. Now, I would like to give you all a brief story about the initial establishment of the club. It was the summer of 1966 at late Shimshon Qachu's house at Paddington in Sydney, where the roots of the club were planted. On that day, the Assyrian Australian Club was established. Shimshon with his family were the second family migrated to Australia after the Assyrian Captain Cook, Shikar Qaleta, came to Sydney with his family in 1963. A few more families started arriving towards the end of '66, following years, families and single arrivals were more frequent. Most of them lived in Randwick and surrounding eastern suburbs. At the time, the name Fairfield was not in the Assyrian vocabulary. Nevertheless, soon a second Assyrian migration started, this time from Randwick to Fairfield. Those days, the guys I associated with had left Iraq to go to Germany, stayed there for a year or two before migrating to Oz. We used to visit families nearly every weekend, as we all missed atmosphere of family life. During those times, one of the subjects that we all talked about was establishment of meeting place for our community's social life. By word of mouth, and gathering was organized to get those interested to manage the affair of an Assyrian club in Sydney. Shimshon, who was next door to some of us, agreed to have the gathering at the backyard of his house. As the host, he stated the purpose of the gathering and must have said some other words of wisdom, I'm sure. He then asked those willing to serve in the committee to raise their hands. After a long pause, all started looking at each other with eyes and hands and heads, just searching, signaling others to nominate. A few of us out at Shimshon, who was smoking the pipe, looking impressive enough to be a president, but that was not to be. Before I conclude, I would like to stress on all the youth present tonight the importance of being involved within the community to gain large potential it could bring to your life. You are the future of this club, community, and nation, and it is you to ensure all three prosper and grow. Now, I would like to thank the Board of Directors for providing me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Registered Committee of the Assyrian Sports and Cultural Club. Thank you. Enjoy your evening.
هاد بسيمة رابا ميقرا نتالي كليتا البت قدن لا ضيلون ماني لي نتالي كليتا اني ايوا خلب مدبرانا مشت الساني قامة يداها بتسماخا وهالبت جو مملو مضوية و خطشعيتا كريتا بود بتسماخا داها اطراية دي وخ اديوم زي وخي خمشيشيني اخشي وين خامن دي تان النوخن احنا نتلان ارخي امانينا ان بس مالوخن خامخ شليوتا إن أختن ليتن مخوبة شميتن إلى تشعيط الذهب تسماخا أني بوي إن بس معلقن خامخ شليوتا ما خامخ شليوتا شمت بتسماخن إلى شو تافوتا أطلطيتا ومردوتانيتا أطوراي جرق مغزيخ مردوتا تان أرخي أمر هايتن بسيمة رابا شو قلنا خن عم رخمي فينيسا.
Throughout the night, we will be showing two parts of historical club videos. We will now watch the first part with videos of important events detailing the history of the club and its progression to become the important part of the community it is today.
هدي بحاول أنخا فيديو كيريا أوائل سما قامايا بتهمزم بتشعيتا كريتا داها بتسماخت أديم زيوخة وخمشيشني
Klassik, le bochum avigora, aben dukten khachaechtela, ina khelet Maria Allaha, bi hayartochum, o hayart kulcha aturayam, humna bimelatu, تاتو هيوما قد أبخنا نابيلا فأوانت جانا وكلكم بتخديتم اليوم على هم
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, due to some technical difficulties, the video unfortunately cannot be played at this moment. We'll try to resolve the issues on our end and play it towards the end of the night or some other part of the night. So I'd like to get your attention back to me if that's okay. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties.
Altı başım çalaqad خكمة اللات تقنيقاية فيديو ليلة بلاخة قبل هذا بد احنا تشلشخ الطرسخ لقد ختمت داها دنيا همزميات مملت أرخن بد يويلون هيوي وقت صورة وقت فيلم بتهاوي حاضر.
Instead, we'll just continue on with the rest of the program. We'll just wait for the lights to be turned on. Continuing on with the rest of the program, I would now like to invite Ms. Dai Lee, MP, the Federal Member for Fowler, to say a few words about tonight's celebration.
Hello. Okay, there you go. You can hear me. Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this amazing community and a very significant milestone of this club. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we gather tonight, the elders past, present, and emerging. Of course, I'd like to acknowledge our mayor, Mr. Frank Carboni, the super mayor of our Fayetteville City Council area. Deputy Mayor Rennie Barco, did I pronounce it right? Rennie Barco. Councillors Carmen Lazar, George Barcher, and Nathan Hegarty from Liverpool Council. I also want to acknowledge the President, John Shamoon. Thank you for having me here. And the Mr. Isa Kalata, who I believe was one of the founders of this club, and also Mr. Natali Kalata. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly. And of course to the board of directors, community organizations, and religious individuals and groups in tonight. I had a quick chat with Mr. Isa, and he talked about the importance of this club to communities, to your community. And we shared how important it is as a space and a place to bring people together and to enable your traditions, your cultures, and your languages to be maintained and encouraged amongst your younger generation. And I sat there and I thought, you know, Vietnamese community, we only have a Vietnamese community center, and watching your community through the many clubs that you have and many church organizations that you have really promoted and enhanced the Assyrian heritage among the community, among your children and the next generation, and it's so important. And it's such an honor for me to be included. I attend all of your community events as many times as I can possibly. I'm also born on the 1st of April, which I know is your Assyrian New Year, so by default I'm an adopted Assyrian daughter. But the work of the board, the work of the volunteers, as you no doubt, John, is what makes a club like this exist and makes the club function. And bringing the people together to work together is very important. And it's something that I very much also love, is that promoting the different cultures that we have here in our wonderful city of Fairfield and of course in the federal electorate of Fowler. And how do we bring and bridge those cultural differences so that we can live together in harmony and understand one another's cultures and languages and traditions. And I've had so much immersion into your culture that I'm so honored and so privileged, and I can't thank you enough for embracing me to be part of your community. So thank you once again for inviting me to be part of your wonderful celebration. This is 50 years, and I wish you another 50 years of success and growth in our wonderful community here in Fairfield. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Diley. Now, I would like to invite a familiar face, an honorary Assyrian, Mr. Frank Carboni, the Mayor of Fairfield, to say a few words about tonight's event.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's always wonderful to come together with the Assyrian community to celebrate the things that are important to you, but also to our community. The gentleman earlier said that the word Fairfield was not in the Assyrian vocabulary, but I can assure you that the word Assyrian is in the Fairfield vocabulary now after 50 years, that's for sure. So can I start off also, of course, by acknowledging a lot of our guests. Of course, to Dai Lee, the member for Fowler, who is from a Vietnamese background, but I can assure you I've never seen a Vietnamese stand up in federal parliament and talk like an Assyrian. So she's always spoken very highly of our Assyrian community, especially of late. And as the mayor, I was very proud to support her because she's always working very hard to support all our communities. Also, of course, to my deputy mayor, being the mayor of Fairfield, of course, I had to have an Assyrian deputy mayor. There was a few to pick from, but this year it was Rennie Barco, and someone that's very passionate. So we say thank you very much to Rennie. He's a very strong advocate for the Assyrian community, I can assure you. I can't hear from my left ear anymore because of how much he talks to me about the Assyrian community and what needs to be done. So, yeah, well done, Rennie. Now we've got a deaf mayor. Also to my councillor colleagues, George Barcher, to Carmen Lazar as well, wonderful advocates for our community, and it's wonderful to have them here. And of course to Nathan Hegarty, who's a councillor from Liverpool, who we gave him a special visa to come into Fairfield tonight. So he has to be up by 12, Nathan. But also I want to congratulate Nathan because today I believe he was nominated as the Labor candidate for Leppington, and we wish you all the very best as well, Nathan. Well done. But of course, tonight we're here to celebrate 50 years of the Assyrian Cultural Club, a wonderful club that really signifies every person in this room. And to get to 50 years, we have to acknowledge the board, the directors, and the presidents that have been along that journey. So tonight I want to acknowledge Mr. John Shamoon, the president. Well done, John. I've seen a lot of the you talked about all the plans that you have for this club, and I can see that the club is in good hands and you're genuinely passionate about preserving the club, making sure the club grows, and most importantly, making sure that it's here for future generations. Because that's a responsibility that's been passed down to you from every president in the past 50 years. It only takes one president and one board to finish a club. I've seen it happen. There have been many Italian clubs that have not survived. But congratulations to you and the board and to all the previous boards that have made sure that this club continues to be here, not for the club, but for the community, because that is what it's all about. And also when we celebrate this special occasion, I want to make a very special mention, of course, of Hannah Caleta. Sorry if I said that wrong. I'm Italian. My apologies. Who is the #1 membership holder, which her late husband, of course, Gabriel Caleta, had as well. And I'm sure that if he was here today, he would be a very, very proud man to see, along with all the other founding members, of course, many others, to see that this club and the vision to make sure that the culture for the Assyrian community has been preserved. Now, the one thing I want to say about the Assyrian community that I see in this club is your strength that I admire. I admire the Assyrian people for having survived so many difficult hurdles in your life. It's got to be said. That is a credit to you, that your culture continues to thrive right here in Fairfield, and we're proud to have each and every one of you. And this club is an example of that. It's an example that the Assyrian culture and nation is still alive. It's still here. The club is a place where you come together to meet, to celebrate, to dance, to sing, but most importantly to preserve your culture. And it is a more important club than any other club, because this club is about you. It's about your identity, and hopefully it will be here for 50 years to come to make sure that future generations also get to celebrate their identity, their heritage, and get to learn from what is celebrated here when people come together, of course. So when we talk about this club, yes, we see a big building, don't we? I remember as council, we've always had a lot of DAs wanting to put a lot of more car parks and making it bigger and causing a lot of problems outside, and my hair's going grey, but the club continues to, and it's gone grey, and the club continues to thrive. But when we talk about this club, who used to be a squash court, people used to come here and play squash. Rennie used to come here when he was at school, he used to tell me. And they used to come here because there was a gym. So while this is a wonderful club, and whilst there are tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of bricks that build this wonderful facility, one that keeps on expanding, the symbol of this club is the members, the people, the 3,000 members you have. Because without the Assyrian community, all it is a building. It's nothing more than that. The club only comes alive because of you. So I want to congratulate all of you, all the past directors, all the past members that have come together to make sure that you celebrate 50 years of the Assyrian Culture Club. I know that the club has done an immense amount of work in helping those of the Assyrian community in their need. It doesn't matter if it's sports, arts, or cultures, and that's what clubs should do. We should ask clubs to do that. John, we should ask you to do more. Not because you're not doing enough, but because the community always needs more. And because the community always relies on such a successful club to make sure that it continues to grow. So I want to wish each and every one of you a really wonderful night tonight. I wish you all the very best. And whilst I say I wish I could be here in 50 years' time, I know that might not be possible as mayor, even though I intend to hang around. I'm not retiring, but I don't know if I'll be here in 50 years' time. I genuinely hope that this club remains here as a symbol of the unity of the Assyrian community. Have a lovely night, everybody, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Mr. Frank Carboni. On behalf of all Assyrian community, Mr. Carboni, we want to say thank you for what you're doing for us, for Southwest Sydney, and Lee, and Nathan, and Carmen, George, Rennie. For recently we can see you advocating on the media, and really we thank you for that. قدد ليل بضايع بني يمعنى خاراية قدمتي وبنونة وبختات داعش حكمة جاروبة لميلون وشاري أخذ كسلن أمان قصافة سيدني. Mr. Mayor Frank Carboni تشالوشيلك آون وليفربول كونسل أم أغضالة وكامبل تاون كونسل قد لا قبلي أهم من ديهاوي إن باي مدريلون شوك مدريلون شوك مدريلون إن ألا قصافة سيدني شوك شدريلون بيرث كوينزلاند إيكت آزي. Thank you, Mr. Carboni.
Thank you, Mr. Frank Carboni. Former club president, Mr. Issa Kaleta, will now be presenting a speech. providing all guests an overview of the Assyrian sports and cultural club histories for the last 50 years.
باقت البيمة ميقرا عيسى قليتا دبرانا سعتا الداور شت أستا الدهك بتسماخة.
Ladies and gentlemen, respected guests, the 50th anniversary of the Assyrian Sports and Culture Club is an important milestone because it is a community institution formed soon after we started migrating to Australia. Assyrians have been migrating to Australia for over 65 years. The first family arrived Sydney from Baghdad in 1963 was that of Sheikh Khalita together with his family. Soon after, more Assyrians arrived, in this case more singles and some families. The singles were here to find out if the country is suitable for them to bring their families here. Soon after, they sent for the families and they came over. By this time, they had found accommodation, work, and schools for their children. However, 3 families with adult sons and daughters soon after, not long after they decided to go back, the main reason was not finding suitable employment for their adult children. Also, homesick made them make that decision to go back to Baghdad. Not long after they left here, 2 of the 3 families came back and are still here. The 3rd family migrated to America. The Assyrian community grew in Sydney. The Assyrian family, as the Assyrian community grew in Sydney, by late 65, the numbers were large enough to prompt the more active members of the community to start arranging picnics, dance parties. This arrangement continued until '69. Members Okay, thank you. Members of the community residing in suburbs of Paddington, Bondi, Randwick, Kingsford, etc. in the eastern suburbs, that started forming a club to manage the community activities. That was the start of this club. At the time, they called it Assyrian Australian Club. As the community grew larger, the club arranged its first general meeting in 1969 to elect a committee to take over responsibility of parties, picnics, and other activities. At this meeting, the contenders for the position of the president were U.O. Kanna and Ishaya Mirza. The fight between these two contenders was the catalyst of the start of disagreement between the two camps. Community members present at that meeting elected Ishaya Mirza for the position of the president of the club. However, soon after, the Assyrian Australian Association was registered in late 1969. The first president of this association was U.O. Kanna. Soon after, the settling of the two organizations was requested by the association to find how many members support the club and how many members support the association. The intention was to split the club money between the two organizations. The result of the referendum was Association 41, Club 59. Money was divided accordingly. This club committee convened a special meeting in June 1970 in Masonic Hall in Canley Vale for the club members to rename the club after long discussion of club members present at this meeting. The present name, Assyrian Sports and Culture Club, was agreed upon. In General Body Meeting of 1970, a complete draft constitution of the club was debated, amended, and approved. It took more than 18 months to have the club application registered under New South Wales Companies Act 1961. The delay was due to a complaint filed against granting the approval. Final approval was given on 13th of November 1962, 50 years from now. 50 years before today. The club committees arranged dance parties on regular basis at different venues. The parties were well attended as the club large members lived in or near Randwick. The club started hiring Randwick Town Hall for the parties. Large number of members and non-members of the community attended the parties. As the years went by, community members found employment in western suburbs. Alex Abraham, one of the active members of the club, was the first who moved his family to Fairfield. Members of the community started moving to Fairfield as close to where they found employment. As more members of the community moved to the western suburbs, membership of this club was dwindled from 160 financial members to only 46, which made it unviable to be able to run as a club because of the community being away in Fairfield. So the club had to find a solution for this decline in membership. In General Body Meeting held in Randwick Literary Institute Hall on 6th of July 1980 to study the club situation given all circumstances with the community, it was decided at this meeting to appoint an interim committee to study the club situation and report back to the club. The following members were appointed to this interim committee: Benjamin Gandalov, Gabriel Kaleta, Ishu Halabi, and myself, Isa Kaleta. We studied the situation, taking the recent history of the club so that my mind is sometimes wandering because there's a lot of noise, so excuse me if I'm repeating myself. We studied the situation, taking the recent history of the club, so that the club, to survive, it will have to move to the west, where most of the community members were living by this time. We, the interim committee, studied the situation of our community in western suburbs and decided to
انزامت لهويا please خدشي خامخ شليوتا انزامت لهويا خدشي خامخ شليوتا بليز قائي خارت تكلن وقائي خارت ارخنتي لخامن بليز مشميمون خارطة بربارق خمسيتون همزميتون انزامت لهويا خامخ شليوتا بليز.
Okay, thank you, John. We, the interim committee, studied the situation of our community in western suburbs and decided to separately meet with the committees of the Assyrian Australian Association, the Assyrian Church of the East, and the Assyrian Universal Alliance Local Central Committee. In our meetings with the three committees mentioned, we explained the club situation and made our intentions clear that is, the club is moving west. We, the interim committee, discussed the situation of the Assyrian community in Fairfield and concluded that AUA needed some organization to cater for their social needs due to large number of members and followers of AUA. This prompted us to recommend to hand this club to managed by the AUA. Club members were informed of the interim committee's recommendation in a general meeting called for the purpose. The meeting approved the recommendation of the interim committee. Club files, books, the banking details, complete with the bank account, were handed to AUA. Then it was up to AUA to arrange elections for the club management. They continued managing the club in Fairfield. Normal club activities were successfully arranged and were popular. We were pleased with the results. It vindicated our assessment of the community situation. The land purchased by the club in 1970 was sold for $57,000, which was in Cecil Hill area somewhere there. Accordance with the general meeting decision made in 1979 to sell the land and use the income to buy a house in Fairfield for the club use. The club rented a suitable building in Boulevard in Fairfield, operated in the building for a few years. This club, to operate to work in that building, they had to have a liquor's license. The club applied for liquor license. Again, there was an objection placed against the issue of the liquor license. This was done by a local small business owner. This was in about 1987. At this time, Jacob Yohanan was the president of the club. he worked for a company. The owner of the company knew this small business owner who had been prompted to object the issue of liquor license. A phone call from Jacob's employer to the small business owner, who then removed or withdrew his objection. The club operated in the Boulevard building for a few years. This building was bought in 1998. After some initial, it was a fruit shop at the bottom, and some sporting activities up this floor. The club bought this building, as I said, in 1998, and there was some modifications done to the building, so we moved in 1999. Few more renovations were done over the years to bring it to the present setup. There was a house next door. The club purchased it and converted it to a car park, to the car park that's there now. The dedication of members of this club has been such that some have put their houses deeds with the bank to obtain the loans needed to complete the purchase. So that's big dedication to put your family house with the club to borrow some money for the building for the club. However, this club always helped Assyrian needs. For example, schools in Iraq needed 3 computers to translate education department school books into Assyrian language for use in Assyrian schools. The club was a big contributor to enable the purchase. This club also helps Assyrians and others, especially when the ISIS were killing, invading, and all of that source in northern Iraq. This club helped, regardless of Assyrians or non-Assyrians. They helped all they could help, assist with the help and supplies that were helped by this club to purchase. This was done through Assyrian Aid Society, which operates in Iraq. The Nineveh Club, established by the association in Fairfield, was having trouble in 2008. This club offered $300,000 annually to the association to prevent the Nineveh Club closure. The offer was not taken, unfortunately. The club closed soon after. Recently, the present club committee has purchased a house on 2-acre land in Bringelly, near the new Western Suburbs Western Sydney Airport being built now, which is scheduled to open in 2026. I want to add something unrelated to the club about this airport area, because I think it's our people who have gone through schools, high schools, universities may benefit. What they aim to do, because the technology is moving so fast, say we have an electrical engineer who wants to be working on software, just for example, because he has gone through university and he has enough knowledge to be able to convert to another trade, if you like. So what they are doing, they are putting courses of 40 weeks So this electrical engineer can be a computer engineer. Because he has the knowledge, it'll not be hard for him to pick the new subject in 40 weeks. So I thought this is important for people to know. There's very small sentence to be finished, but before I do read that, what I want to do is young people who are grown here, born here, or came from overseas, they can use this club free of charge if they have meetings, gatherings of them, or they have a project they want to display, a movie to show for community. They can see John, who is the president of the club, and members of the committee. I am sure they will be more than willing to help those people asking to use the hall, to help them achieve their goal. Many members wanted to tell their club story. If allowed, we would not only have just dinner here, but breakfast as well. Thank you.
إن بسمع لكم خامخ شريوتا من كل خبرانة هقي لقاتان ميقرا يسقليتا تيلا سودي من تدغامو خاراية من مملة تونيلة قخامن دي بتخارن أسامة خارايا سبسامة قامة يراب قالي ولا خوب شمايا بتمجد أنا بطلابن بخالتها منخ ميقرا عيسى قليتا اتقالت يوغو هول إنا هاد بسيمة رابا ديولو تشعيت بتسماخا هايو بسيم ترابا بتسماخا دون دلشميلون مارنا قيالا قبنونا اسكولاية ان اتلون خوباطة اكتيفيتيز نشاطات وبي مبلخيلة اها اوانا الى خوراي ان بسمع لوخن ان يالوخن اتلون جمعياته وبي اودي خك معودياته أوانا إلى خرايقاتين هايتون بسيمة رابا.
Thank you, Mr. Isa Kaleta. The ASCC would now like to present some awards to the establishment members of the club, along with a special award recipient. I would like to invite Mr. John Shamoon and Ms. Dai Lee to the stage to present the awards.
هدية بيخ مقروة خكمة دشنة وشكانة هدامة ذهب اسمعها انشت اسانه بطلابه من مدبرانة اوانا يقرا جون شمون وام بي دالي.
To commemorate the 50-year anniversary, the board of directors have decided upon rewarding the foundation members of Assyrian Sport and Culture Club. The award is presented to all members who helped with the establishment and foundation of the Assyrian Sport and Culture Club. The awards will be presented to all foundation members. Knowing what the club has become, along with the support it has provided, I speak on behalf of your tireless effort and commitment on writing a club constitution and officially registration, the club formed and strong foundation that the club required constantly grow and prosper. Therefore, award will be presented to all foundation members to the club. On behalf of the Assyrian Sport and Culture Club, I presented the following foundation awards. Please come and receive your award once your name is presented. Natalie Kaleta. Sorry, not Ali. Sorry, not Ali. Benjamin Gandalov, who is no longer with us, and presented by his son Joseph Benjamin Gandalov. Gabriel Kaleta, he is no longer with us, is presented by his wife Hanna Kaleta. Emmanuel Warda, who unfortunately is no longer with us, and represented by the Gabriel Kaleta's family. Romeo Hanna, who is no longer with us and is presented by his wife Sionia Hanna. Isho Halabi, who is no longer with us and today presented by his son Stephen Halabi. Yuval Shalalo, who unfortunately cannot attend today. Edmund Kaleta. Ishaya Mirza, who unfortunately couldn't attend today, he is presented by his brother, Fraidun Mirza. I'll put it back. Let's see. مد güzel. Yuval Sandria Isho. Jacob Yonen, who is no longer with us and presented by his cousin Rowena Toma. Rowena Toma. Itlant Laman founders at Lela Masjid, unfortunately Lela Piasha, Shimshun Ketchoshino, who is no longer with us, Benjamin Yohanna, unfortunately is no longer with us, Alex Abrahams, who unfortunately no longer with us, Isa Qaleta, George Diro. فرايدون مرزا وإتلي حكمة خبرانة بيت أمر الله فرايدون بيا مقرو حكمة خبرانة كريوتو
رمشوق طاوة خانم يقرأ مقام كل من ديبين خطيانت من تجرتا طينا من دبرانوت كلتشر كلاب يعني تقم يويلان أياب برسات شالخ لخا مقروخ خبا وإقارا قيشل خامن نوخن نزوتا أنا من شيت ألبو تصمو اشتا وين هدام الدا كلاب وين هدام هما شمهمنا هل اديوما ولن وشقيلة مشتعلانوتا هل شيتت ألبو تصمو تماني خا وباين مجبروتا قمو دالي شقلنوا شيتت ألبو تصمو تماني خا من سبب أنا من يقاري خشمة برسوب مقمني هم زملون خشمة من دياني لو بقطاي بخيالي إذا أنا شقيلالي وخشمة يالي ششيرة مني ويلون قمسنديلي شقيلانا يا كلتشر كلاب ما دخ اديو ازو يا خوادخ لا انا شقيلو وهوبا وزيو خلاوي اجا لبين رابا اورنس جو تشيت كلتشر كلاب رابلا لما اسم بتري دقيقه برقنا تشيتا اخشي باين طين منتا من دبرانوت كلتشر كلاب تينا برخشم منتيتا المنتيتا وتن خامن دي خينات باين مقويا دني دانات خراي ويلي بالت بتري تريج وانقي انهيرة تخزيالي دينا هايراني قداك كلتشر كلاب لما نشيتون ان تريج وانقي انا بريق دواترا انا اتلو خبة دام اللتن مسكنتا اوارا ان تري انا بريق دواترا ومتخرنو شمانه انا بي خش اختبري متيتا قارة قدن نتري سبب أن إنا داتيت هم تأطوريتا ديان ولدا كلتشر كلاب وقام إلى رمسن وردة يبخشاون إلى منا لخا جدو رمشا ودتري إلى ريتشارد يلدا أن تري برسوبش قيلنا خشوبة جو صدر دي دوزوتا ليات المنشوية بين رابا يعني اتلو خلا طيمانتا جرت كلتشر كلاب صيتا جشقا بخينا تمس الدني تري برسوبس اينا داتيت داي كلتشر كلاب وهايتم بسيم رابا
هاود بسيم رابا. Thank you, Daily. Congratulations to all the Foundation Award recipients. May I please ask Frank Carboni, Mayor of Fairfield City Council to present award to the Board of Directors have also decided to provide a person with a special recognition award to the all, and the person does not need to introduction. The person has shown constant dedication and hard work to this club. She was involved in ongoing various social initiatives, including Ladies Night Parties, Miss Assyria Contest, Melbourne Cup. Since 2000, she had also hosted the club radio program, قالت ثورة, and organized the various functions for Assyrian charities. Additional, a person has served in the community of the club various times and always dedicated her time to serving the club and the Assyrian community. Everyone, please put your hand together in welcoming our very own Mrs. Maryam Khamis. خاتة مريم لخت ترابا كشخت ترابا شولخ لمن شخله أوديات مقروطة قاداش ومانا شقة لمن شخلون إن إتلخ خكمة خبرانة بيت امرتلون باقت.
السلام عليكم. أنا إيون ماري قبل قتي ونبرات داها أمتا جبرتها مردنتا وإلى وليتا القدالت كل خامنن كمت إتلم صيتا مقرو خلمت قديا أمتا أنا بينا خاورتت يا مني أزيست بلخت الأرابا إلى رفينا جودو ويتلا هماشا كل شولاني خورت مني رفينا تلخا بينغ مني هوتو بسيمي رابا كل أخو وبطلابنا هما شاقتاوي خبا قاون كمد ما صيتو كلاني بالخ بخا خبا بخايغ جون خرايوتا جرك هما شا خمخلا جانن سندخلا جانن أو بنهاوي خخجا دراشاين لها بالكربة خبي ويقارق كل أخو وبطلابن قداها شتابوتا قد هما شاوية جمنتيتا كمت إتلبنوني طناني مغدياخن أنا خشون بتهويات آزل قامة وتهوية بشمنتي أنت خبي وقارقة كل أخونا ناوي تنرابة بسيمي.
هوي بسيم ترابة باقت. Thank you, Frank.
It is now time to unveil the special plaque dedicated to all the board of directors of the Assyrian Sports and Cultural Club in the last 50 years. Since 1970, the board contains the yearly list of the club's board of directors. The plaque is to be placed at the club premises, forever engraving their name in the club's 50-year history. I would like to call on all present club presidents to unveil the plaque, including Mr. Edmond Kaleta, Mr. Frajan Mirza, Mr. Issa Kaleta, Mr. Ashul Jacko, Mr. Daryawush Lemon, Mr. Binyamin Oraham, Mr. Isho Sliwa, and Mr. John Shamoon to unveil the plaque.
هلبت بغزايتون أهلوخا ديلم كسيا أهلوخا بخواشي لشمانة كلم ضبراني مشت السانة داها أوانا من شيت ألفا وتصمة وشوي القائم بطلابوخ من كل هدامة بطلابوخ من كل دنتي ومضبرانة داها أوانا أنت قريلون شمانة أو ديلم يقرأ إدمون قليتها يقرأ فريدون مرزا يقرأ عيسى قليتها يقرأ آشور جاكو يقرأ درياوش ليمون يقرأ بنيامن أوراهم يقرأ إيشو سليوا وهرهاضخ مضبرانة قائم أو إلى جون شمون
هاويتم بسيمة رابا هدايا اتلن volunteers بيخ مقروخ لون خابشكش اني تئينا عيسى قليتا يوحنا خامس واتلن تري ام سي اوت إيلي أميل غريب وفانيسا أي سبق آت شيوخ برقلوخ لا يوحنا خامس أميل هاويتم بسيمة رابع
Thank you all club presidents. We would like to invite the Assyrian Khabur Social Association to give a gift of appreciation to the club.
هذه بالطبخ من شوتابوتا عدرانا وصبرايوتا أطوراي ميقرا آطور بدمرزا باقت البيمة دمقروخا دشنا إقارة وهر هاضخ مقروينا خابوكيد خدست ورده.
We would now like to invite the Assyrian Khabur Social Association to give a gift of appreciation to the club.
هذه بالطلبخ من سقطة خابرت عدرانة أطوراي فقدي البيمة مقروي أباني دشنت إقارقة مدبرانة دها بتسماخة. إن بسمع لخن شمخ الميقرا جون شمون اتليخا مملكة ويا مقرولة قاتوخن
بس بين أمر هويتون بسيمة رابا سيت تخابر طنانت منتخ من ناخن بشكشتي إلى رابط من هويتو بسيمة رابا
بسيمة رابا.
Thank you all for your attendance tonight. I also would like to thank you for allowing me to host tonight's celebration alongside Emil. We are so grateful to be celebrating the 50th anniversary tonight, and we hope to have many more years of this amazing club and organization.
هلبا بطلابة وخقاتوخن خارمشة هنيئة هايتن بسيمة رابط قبلوخن هاوخ أنا ورخمي فينسا مقروان خرز الدهرمشة بطلابة وخقاتوخن خارمشة منتيانا هلبا بردا خرمشة بتهاولن زمارة تنأرختية زمارة ودست موسيقورة هايتن بسيمة رابط رمشوخن هاو بريخة وخدية.
If you would also like to purchase the 50th anniversary club book, please see the table at the front of the reception hall. The book will be sold for $30 each.
قدانتينا مخوبة قاني خاصختا من كتاوة التشعيط بتسماخا تشوتابوتا اطلطيتا ومردوتا نتت اطوراي هيدول متخا تيبل تماخا طبليتا بريشو تنكتاوة تاما ماسيتون قانيتون إلي قيمة كتاوة إلي $2.
Next, we have dinner, which will be served shortly, followed by the cake cutting ceremony, along with some Assyrian musical entertainment. We will then spend the rest of the night enjoying the musical performance of Willsin Ishe, along with the folkloric dance from the Assyrian Star Dance Group. Enjoy the rest of your night, and God bless.
هلبت بطلابو خاتوخن أخليتون خرمشوخن وبرهادغ تهاويلان خطيتت كيكا ومن برهادغ تهاوي أمان زمارن خبيوة ويلسون إيشا دست موسيقورة هاوتن بستيمة رابا.